This week on LandLeader Television. We are the leaders of the land. Land is what we live on. It can be explored, built upon, and cultivated. Land holds our wildlife, crops and livestock, and the homes in which we live. It provides a resource for your family. It's what our forefathers settled and our brave fight to protect. It asks that you respect it, keep it free, and put back what you have taken. At times, it's purchased, sold, and traded, and it's passed on from generation to generation. So it's our duty as land brokers to be champions of conservation, habitat management, and ownership. We possess a deep love for our land and respect for all it provides. We are LandLeader. The following segment is brought to you by Hayden Outdoors, farm, ranch, and recreational real estate.
My name's Ron Tallarico, and we're pretty close to the top of Rist Canyon in Bellevue, Colorado. 20 to 25 minutes to Old Town Fort Collins. You're an hour and a half to Denver, Westminster, Broomfield area. Close proximity to town. You're far enough away from everything, but yet close enough to everything. The views are fantastic. The weather conditions are great. Approximately 520 acres. 3 loafing shed areas, the barn, the garage, the house. It has a little bit of everything for everyone. You have wooded areas, a lot of meadows, hay fields, mountain. Of course, the mountains have great views. The pond is spring fed. It's stocked right now with rainbow trout. We brought in close to 20,000 flathead minnows. The rainbows seem to be right now at anywhere from 12 to 20 inches. We have 9 adjudicated springs on the property that feed the pond and other areas. There was a time when this was the old goat place that they did run nothing but cattle. 100% mineral rights except for the 2 40-acre tracts up on top. On the hay fields, depending on weather conditions, we could usually get pretty close to 100 ton of hay. Because of the altitude, we only get 1 cut. The wildlife, we've had moose, next to the house, elk behind the house. Deer are usually everywhere. Wild turkey.
James Gentry with Hayden Outdoors, and we're at Rist Canyon Ranch in Bellevue, Colorado. The unique feature about this ranch is that it offers so much close to Fort Collins. You could be in Old Town in 20, 25 minutes. The house that's on the property is an original cabin, probably built in the late 1800s, early 1900s, but the house has been added on to, so you have a nice 2-bedroom, 2-bath home. The roof on all of the buildings has been replaced by Mr. Tallarico. This barn is unique. In fact, it's on its own septic system. It's got its own hot water heater. It's set up to be able to put in a washer and dryer. If you had to do any type of vet facility, you have the infrastructure here to do that. It's got its own bathroom. There's an abundant population of mule deer, elk, turkey. There's a few moose in the area that wander through the ranch. There are some huge trout. We saw that today. I think we had 2 of them break off flies on lines eventually, but yeah, the trout fishing here is pretty great. The property has multiple springs. The property owner has gone through the trouble of having those springs documented and adjudicated to the property. It adds value in the sense that the water belongs here to the property. One of the unique things is there is a well on the top of the ridge up above the property, and it takes about 5-6 hand pumps, and you have cold, fresh water flowing out of the granite mountain up there, which just tells you a little bit about the quality of the water in the area and the fact that there's an abundance of it. I think what's unique is that you can leave the house, go 30 minutes away on foot, and you feel like you're in a whole nother place.
This segment was brought to you by OtterBox, building extraordinary products to enhance your life, and by Cinch Jeans and Shirts, the leader in premium Western wear clothing since 1996. The Cimarron Valley Ranch boasts over 45,000 acres of land spread along the historic Santa Fe Trail in Colorado and Oklahoma. This ranch runs along 22 miles of the Cimarron River and supports up to 2,000 cows using rotational grazing pasture, turnkey ranching operations, and ample water from the river and ponds to stock tanks and 10 pivot irrigated circles. Excellent hunting for elk, deer, quail, turkey, and more are found on this rare contiguous ranch. Call Dax Hayden for more information or visit HaydenOutdoors.com.
Out here, there's no boss, no 9 to 5, no vacation days. You see, this is more than a job. It's a calling. It's the sweat, the grit, the worry, the wonder, and the truth that you were born to lead this life.
LandLeader Television is brought to you by OtterBox. At work or at play, OtterBox enables your everyday. Cinch Jeans and Shirts, your leader in Western wear. Gunworks, 1,000 yards capable right out of the box. Western Heritage Consulting and Engineering, built on grit. Blue Otter polarized sunglasses, the very best. Covert Scouting Camera, top quality trail cameras with unmatched support. Swarovski Optic, perfection meets tradition. Kevin's Catalog, the place for Kevin's fine outdoor gear and apparel. And by Feed the Party, the best steaks and meats at the best prices. The following segment is brought to you by Corder & Associates, your trusted source for buying and selling farms, ranches, hunting, and vacation properties throughout Montana and Wyoming.
I'm Don Wester, and I'm south of Belgrade, Montana. I've been ranching on this place since 1977, but I've been ranching my whole life within a mile of where I'm right now. My dad helped, and he passed away, and then I got my 2 sons and a daughter. My 2 sons are with me. We got 4 grandkids, 3 grandsons, and 1 granddaughter. These 2 of them are grandsons. I think they're going to take over down the road, too. My ancestors, they immigrated here in 1909, so we've been in this valley for a long time. That's a beautiful place, Spanish Peaks. You can see the bridges. It's a nice valley, there's no doubt about it. Well, I think on the west side, Longthorpe is pretty nice down in there, and then on the other side, this old railroad right-of-way, it's fairly quiet. It's an irrigated place, beef ranch. We raise some corn, hay, lots of irrigation water, and grass. I guess that's about all I can tell you. The priority dates, water is some of it's 1888 and the rest is 1883. This water is in the own house ditch out of the river, West Gallatin River. Most of these ditches in the West Gallatin River are incorporated. This is one of the few ditches that is not incorporated, so it's a lot more accessible. So that's pretty valuable, I think, too. I've got 3 wells on this place, well, 4 with a dug well. 3 of them are registered and got all the water you can ever use. Have a lot of white-tailed deer, a lot of ducks, a lot of geese, quite a few bald eagles in the spring. I dairied here for 30 years, and I had beef with a dairy, went straight beef then. And being I'm getting older now, I do more with the cows, and the boys do more with the field work. Irrigated ground down here under our pivot sprinkler. If we get the right conditions, we can probably run 1.5 pairs per acre. Corn silage too, we get 26.5 tons of corn silage off it, and can raise 6.5 tons the acre of hay off of that. That's pretty good, but you gotta have 3 cuttings. It's good ground.
Hi, my name is Trampus Corder, broker and owner with Corder and Associates. Today we find ourselves in the middle of the Gallatin Valley, just south of Belgrade, Montana, which is just west of Bozeman, Montana, one of the hot spots for Montana real estate currently. The owner of this property is Donald Westra. He currently runs a cattle and farming operation on this property with his 2 boys and some of their grandchildren. This is a true farming and cattle operation. The unfortunate set of circumstances that the town has kind of grown into his operation. We are located in the Gallatin Valley, which has got some of the most fertile, rich, deep, dark soils in the state of Montana. The reason that it was settled back in the late 1800s was because of the water and the rich nutrients in the ground, and you can grow so many variety of crops here. Someone with a vision and a dream, they could come and put up an elaborate home here, and yet you're gonna be a quarter mile from the general public, and yet 15 miles from an international airport. Investor looking to subdivide and put up more homes, which is going to be a great benefit for the community. They need it. Obviously, we're running out of housing. Ideal investment for someone that's looking for that. You know, when they talk about the last best place, there ain't none of these left in this area. This is really, truly that great.
We're running 370 cows right now. We got corn, we got hay, and we got malt barley. We run a lot of leased ground with this deeded ground, and we're scattered over the valley, but the reason we're selling not because that we don't like the place, but people are pushing us out. Houses are getting too close, and it just makes it really tough ranching in this area.
This segment was brought to you by Gunworks, 1,000 yards right out of the box. And by Blue Otter Polarized Sunglasses. Don't settle for anything less than the best.
Honey Break Lodge is a majestic site towering over the cypress trees of scenic Larto Lake. With 6 lodge suites, 26 beds, and our camp that can host 96, Honey Break can accommodate any event. Visit us at honeybreak.com.
The Climber. A new ultralight design by Gunworks. The Climber is the pinnacle of lightweight, long-range design. Design yours at gunworks.com.
Land is where it all begins. From farmland and working cattle ranches to hunting properties and recreational retreats. We aren't your typical real estate agents. We choose boots over dress shoes and trucks over sports cars any day. We hunt, fish, raise cattle, and grow crops. We understand land.
Now you can live the Honey Break experience. We carry top brands in waterfowl and outdoor clothing, as well as a full line of Honey Break logo t-shirts, souvenirs, and gifts. Visit us at the Pro Shop or online at honeybreak.com.
This property is brought to you by Outdoor Properties of Nevada. See how we approach land differently.
My name is Jim Boyer, and we're here on the Independence Valley Farm and Ranch this morning. The Pequot Mountains, the Woodhills Mountains, and the Independence Valley encompass this property. The deeded portion is roughly 47,700 acres. Then we have a BLM, Bureau of Land Management, grazing permit for grazing livestock on it of another 100,000+ acres. Property is in that 160,000 acre range. The ranch itself is about 45 miles long north to south and about 28 miles wide. The immenseness of the property is something that's hard to get your arms around until you first come out here. And I haven't physically been on all of it in 10 years, other than when I flew over it in a helicopter. Grow the all-natural Angus beef, or certified Angus beef candidates. We also grow dairy and export hay. We have 14 hay pivots, and we run about 1,250 mother cows on the farm and ranch. The ranch is a year-round ranch. We'll bring cattle here from other properties in the wintertime and winter those cows here. To the south of us is the original ranch headquarters called the Warm Springs Ranch. It was homesteaded in the 1880s by James and Lorna Ralph. The valley and the mountain went by the name of Ralph's Warm Springs Ranch for many, many years. The term Independence Valley Farm and Ranch came about maybe 50 years ago, if I remember correctly. My partners and I first started looking at the property 11 years ago. It was 2,300 acres. We bought it in the summer of 2008, roughly 11 years ago. Over the course of buying out 9 of our neighbors, we increased the size of the property up to the 48,000 acres that it is today. Historically, the original section of the ranch was just a few scattered 40-acre homestead parcels. It's 3 mountain ranges and the 2 valleys in between it. It's a big piece of dirt. The size of the natural resources on this property are amazing. Immediately to the east of us, the largest gold deposit in North America sits and is being developed today. This property is a natural resource transaction. For an agricultural enterprise, it is a big agricultural enterprise, but it's principally a natural resource transaction. We have a geothermal resource. We have a little bit of oil on the property. We've got a little bit of gold on the property. And we have a lot of water. To the south of us, we have an immense body of water on the property. And to the north of us, we have a large mountain range that's covered with cows and elk right now. We have 5 homes on the property that we use for housing of our help. Try to provide very good housing for our people. So all of our modular homes for our employees are all built on concrete foundations. We design our modular homes for a heavy snow load and a heavy wind load. The Egan House was a site-built home that we had bought from the estate of the late Dan Egan. It is a very nice guest house. From on top of the Pequot Mountains, the panoramic views that you can get looking to the north and to the east are stunning. An average day here in the winter, your average visibility is 100 miles.
This segment was brought to you by Covert Scouting Cameras. Remain best in the game with Covert Scouting Cameras. And by Swarovski Optic. Perfection meets tradition.
I want to be silent, and I want to be lethal. I want every advantage. With the new covert cell cameras, I'll finally have the edge I've been missing. The only way they'll know I'm here is if they hear my heart beating through my chest.
Here at Swarovski Optic, a lot of time is spent on perfecting a few great things until every idea we touch enhances every moment in the field. For a quarter century, the Swarovski Optic SLC has been making hunters' dreams become reality. Feel the wilderness every time you step outside.
This property is brought to you by Outdoor Properties of Nevada. See how we approach land differently.
A little bit about the wildlife population here. When we acquired the property, we had a small herd of about 12 elk on the south side of the highway and a small herd of about 35 elk on the north side of the highway. We built a perimeter fence around a portion of the ranch. We did not build a perimeter fence on public ground, we built a perimeter fence on private ground. 150 miles. That's a lot of fence, folks. We then started drilling water wells, and we started putting in crested wheat seedings and other rangeland grasses. We've put in over 5,000 acres of developed seedings for elk habitat and over 30 wells. Most of those wells run on solar panels, so you don't have to have any human intervention. Our last census here on elk north of the freeway was up from 35 to 450, and our last census on the south side of the ranch was 125. Although I saw 140 this morning in about 20 minutes. Antelope, we've got a resident herd of about 300 antelope on the ranch. We have bighorn sheep on the property. We've seen mountain goats come through here. The first recorded grizzly bear in 160 years in eastern Nevada we had on the property. It's an immense piece of property. You cannot do it justice in a 2 or 3 day trip. In the fall of the year, we have several thousand mule deer that migrate through here.
I'm Tracy Bracco, and we are at what we refer to the Egan House on the Independence Valley Farm and Ranch. I grew up on a dairy farm, so it gave me a deep appreciation for animals and farming. That's parlayed nicely into the ranching and the farming operation here. It's a fairly easy trip into Wells. We're right off the freeway. Into Wells is about 15 minutes. Salt Lake is 2 hours. You have a lot of bigger cities around you, but yet we're kind of small and rural out here. I don't know if you can quickly describe it. It's enormous, it's huge and beautiful. It is a full functioning farming operation, cattle operation, and it's a huge piece of land. It's just breathtakingly beautiful. This time of year, all the flowers are blooming, everything's green. With the size and the enormity of the place, no matter where you're at, you're getting to see something special. We have tremendous amounts of water from the natural fed streams and creeks and the number of wells that have been put throughout the entire property. It's hard to describe this place in 1 or 2 sentences. The farming operation, we have all these pivots. We produce hay for the export markets. For our cattle operation with the shipping corrals, or we have our cattle being run. It really is a fascinating place because you have the valley of it, which is the farming operation, and then you're surrounded by the mountains, which is all part of the Independence Valley Ranch and Farm.
We decided to go with Todd Renfrew at California Outdoor Properties, strictly because of what we felt was a good synergy on marketing, a good synergy of outreach. To date, what I've seen from the LandLeader group has tremendously exceeded my expectation level.
Hi, this is Todd Renfrew from Outdoor Properties of Nevada. We're sitting about 10 miles outside of Wells, Nevada, on the Independence Valley Farm and Ranch. It's a 47,000 acre property with over 100,000 acres of BLM lease. It's just an amazing place. Right now, Jim's running 14 pivots with alfalfa. Amazing water resource here. Most of the water stays in the basin. It's a very unique property because you have the basin land where the pivots are located. It's kind of flat, used to be just sagebrush ground. It rims up to mountains around the sides. And then you have the Pequot Mountains, the elk, the mule deer, the antelope are all interlaced. Another thing you'll notice as you're driving on Highway 80, you'll see a huge crossing that was built specifically for the mule deer migration that goes through this property. Jim has just finished a cabin. It used to be an old hunter's cabin, and he's got it decked out really nice. There's about 3 farmhouses, hay barns, everything within 10 years old. Everything's set up, functional, and just a well-run ranch. You obviously have the agricultural component, but the highlight of this property is the natural resources. You have oil, you have gold, you have geothermal, but the real power of this property is the water. This property is in the path of progress, and it would be a great investment. It's an amazing place, and I really think because of all the components of agriculture, the natural resources, it's really an amazing buy. It's an investment that grows in the future, but you can enjoy the heck out of it while you're here. It's that big and it's that amazing. It's just phenomenal, the size and the beauty of this place.
Only one of my partners is younger than me, the rest are older than me, and we've all been very successful in the business world, and we're all in that retirement mode. So we're marketing the property for sale strictly because of retirement.
For more information on how to feature your property on LandLeader TV, please visit landleader.com.